because I don't want to start from blank, I want to use Copilot in order to create me a task plan. And I can do this simply by clicking here on the right, on the top, or Copilot, I find task plan, clicking on that. And what is happening right now is that the Copilot is getting the name of the project and as well the description. That's why I put a little bit like details into this description before. Based on that and based on what's written there, the Copilot is generating me a task plan with everything what it needs. So with as well structure and a hierarchy, which I just wanted to mention, but there it is already. So let me expand this very quickly to figure it out how it looks and if this is kind of fitting for me. Yeah, sorry, this is fine for me. So I can use that for as a basically skeleton. So I don't want to use it like as a, okay, this is the given plan. I don't want to give this use this as given because, for example, in my summary, I use something like different words for exploring the space and things like that. And wait, just let me highlight this very quickly. Sorry. Yeah, so I want to collect like astronomical data and we gain insights into cosmic phenomena and things like that. And this has really nothing to do with Copilot for Sales. So what has happened here, based on the description, I of course have like all of these nice cosmic phenomena and as well creating like virtual reality simulations for interactive experience and things like that. So just because it is related to AI and to Copilot, it's maybe not like 100% given what I want to use, but really, I know I have to live with that, but I can change it. And I can, for example, then change this task name into implement extensions for Copilot for sales, because the customer, for example, uses SAP. So anyone else will include that. So I can still make changes to it, and I don't need to set this as a, like a given example to me. I can just use it as the backbone of my plan and find like the right resource for that. And of course, for having interactive experience, we always need development, right? And as well, we want to do create multimedia installations. Gee, that's like a rollout sounds to me, right? So let's do with this. The rest we keep just for the sake of time like that. And you can also see that identifying key objective is kind of maybe a bit small with 2 days, so we can change this to 5. So all of the different areas I do have available. As well, I get like different views here with that project for the web integration. So I do have a board where I can as well see like different buckets. So I can create a new bucket for Copilot for sales implementation. Do it like this. And then I can read roll up. I want to say roll out. Jesus Christ. It's late. It's late on a Friday. So my development goes in there. And I also want to gather astronomical data for my Copilot for slides for sure. So I can as well then structure that into like different buckets and to reorganize my team to really get the most out of like, for example, a Kanban board here, organize it in different teams or what is to do, what is in priority and things like that. As well, I have the opportunity to create sprints with that. This was as well added. And sprints are basically providing like a start and end date to these buckets. So I can replicate my, for example, DevOps or Jira sprints with that and define like certain milestones which needs to be done during the time. My grid from here still accessible and is not affected by these changes. But we just go move forward and I want to assign myself here maybe. And as well, Martin is working with me on the project. So I'm finding some resources because if you think back, we do have as well like this quote open, which we need to send out to our customer. And then as well, we need Sebastian for defining the project scope. And then Martin will be super busy with gathering astronomical data for sure. For like the real work here on the project, we need as well some help from some developers. So when clicking on this like three dots here, we can add a new generic resource to that, which then gives me opportunity to find certain people inside my company, but I'm not yet sure. So this project will start up in the future, but I know I need a developer. I'm not sure like who it will be, but someone will be there. So here I need a developer, and I need the same developer as well for this one and for that one. For this task here, we as well give him like a sidekick. So we will search for maker as well. So we are basically generating here placeholders to provide as well like the blockers and as well to contribute to the estimates. Because based on like the role, like developer, maker, or in my case a project manager, or Martin as a team member, we do get different prices from the price list. We will see that in a moment how that looks like. Let me just finish that up. We add another developer to this task because it's called development. So we plan with 2 developers, and we may want to do as well 4 days of development. Feels like cosmic data is a lot. And then as well we're adding here Sebastian. And so this adds up to my project plan. And if you really want to do like more detailed plan to it, because right now I just throwing people and roles onto like different tasks which I have throughout the whole system, I can as well go into the assignments grid, which brings much more value. It looks a bit like something where I need to clean up, but with the right adjustments, it is just perfect. So instead of grouping by resources, we're grouping by task. So what we can see is like we can see all of the different tasks and their assignments already. And then what we do, instead of having like a daily overview, we set this to weekly. And then we can do and expand all of these different tasks as well in their end dates with all of the efforts which we need to spend through the whole week. And the system, I want to do 8. And the system is kind of as well expanding the task and expanding as well the runtime of the whole project. Because what changes here is as well that we are adjusting also the finish date for develop analytical. This might be a strange name. What is the name of it? I cannot expand it. Oh, okay. Of this one, of the development task. We are as well expanding the end date and as well expanding like the budget which we need to spend on this project. So it's a very good task here, or good for you to align with your planning and as well to really assign people based on their based on the assigned hours to the different tasks. So for example, I can as well go in here on a daily base and distribute the hours and the budget throughout my project plan for each individually and can directly plan how they should set up for the project. That at the end will as well make changes to the project plan and expand the whole project in the runtime. But as well will generate me a project team, which I then receive right over there. So I do have Martin and I have myself, and then I as well have a generic resource for maker, so like a placeholder, and I as well need 2 developers. All right, then we can just quickly check on the estimates where we do have new functionality to as well include expenses and materials in the same view. So in the past we only had like one view where I had expenses and materials separated, and I can now create a new expense estimate directly from here. I can set this up, I can hook this up to a task if I like. So there are perhaps certain tasks which require like an expense or which are bounded to an expense, and as well I can set up a category. The category, that's maybe something to consider here in this case. The category then needs to have like pricing in the backend, so I cannot give or provide like a custom pricing with that. And yeah, I need to do this like here, upwards, if I don't set it up in the beginning, and then it sets up the pricing here in total for 40 because I have 2 units. And I can do the very same as well without setting up a category by just defining as well the unit. For example, this is time. So we have, for example, an expense of travel time of like 40 hours, and this is like cost prices and this one. And then we can set up different expenses we do have across the whole project. And we can do the very same about materials. So, and then for materials, we do set up here as well. We can take into account existing products. So from our product catalog again, or we can choose a write-in product. For example, yeah, the Edge is already complaining that I need to set licenses. So let's sell some licenses with that one here. And then this is like your default unit. I actually wish that there's like a bit more automation here. Maybe it's just because it's like a brand new feature that it's just a little bit clunky still to add the data, but it's nice to have those like in like one system view, and you can just hop around it and you have everything in one place, and you can already see like we have so many tabs here and there is so much going on. So it's really nice to have like this little extension there. So we as well wanted to check on our time-phased estimates, because these are the estimates which will then add into our quote to just provide a better quote for our customer. So basically what we see, everything what we have added, all different developers, the Martins and Sebastians, they're already here. As well, my expensive materials are here. I still have two tasks which are assigned, but that's fine. We keep it like that. And we can as well then already see the prices. In this case, we do see the costs. We can as well trigger that and change it to sales prices, and it immediately changes. It's so fast I cannot even really tell that it changes, but you can as well then see it's a total sales price. As well, again, we can group it by different stuff right here. The prices getting defined by whatever there is set on the quote. So let's jump back and review that. So let's find our quote. There we go. And now we are back on the quote. Before we completing our quote, let's quickly jump into a price list just to see like what is new there. And there we do have the roll prices. And for these roll prices, we do already have a price override which says 1 here for the developer. And with the new grids here, we can just simply expand this and see what is going on. So for the customer AdventureWorks, we are actually billing more. So AdventureWorks is not getting a discount for us. They need to pay more for the developer. So we do have apparently a special agreement with them, but so they need to pay more for that. And we can set up the same for the maker in just simple selecting the role, create a new price override right here, and then select the start date. So for example, this one starts from December on, and then as well we can give up different pricing methods. I just stick with price per unit, and then we can as well change this by with percentage. So for example, we can go 50% up, and as well set a certain scope for that. And these certain scope can be set up for accounts, special orders, or quotes. So I can even like set up a quote for that. So I can change the prices on the price list for a certain quote for a certain amount of time, and I don't need to create like a full copy of the price list or a new price list or make changes to the original price list. I can just set up a new price override, which then defines for a certain scenario, even though for a certain time, some change in the price. Or maybe I adjust the prices throughout the year and bring up like maybe seasonal prices for Christmas time, or for example for the New Year's time. Then I can just adjust this directly on the price list, and I don't need to create like certain copies or create 500 price lists for every customer in each scenario. I can just directly do it. So it's much more quicker, much more easier to maintain, and also helps the system to gain the right information. So it's as well, I have like 3 price lists in the whole system, and I'm managing different scenarios right there. And here we can see it. Our price already is effective from the 1st of December for Adventure Works, and they as well no need to pay more for the maker. And I never defined the price, I just like did a percentage, and this is the outcome of that. Also new feature, nice that I have edited, and I really like that one as well. So based on the prices on the price list, we then get the prices as well from the estimates and as well then for our quote. And to get them in, we can then just go back here to our quote line, ignore Copilot, never said that. And what we can do here, we can just here in quote line details, we do have the option to import our project planning, because this is what we wanted to do. This is why we gave everything, I just leave everything on default. This is what we want to do in the first place. I gave basically as a sales guy my quote to the project manager. They planned out the project plan with named resources, with placeholders, with people for certain skills working inside the company, or maybe even externals. And then I do have like a full-fledged project plan now, which I can use to for quotation. And I do basically get all of everything the project manager has like planned out, or what we did together, and I have them now aligned here into my quote line, which is pretty nice. And finally, I do have a quoted amount. So this was the amount which comes out from my project planning. And because I already have planned a project, I may already have secured some of the bookings and so on, I can just have a much more secure quotation phase and be just much connected with the actually PMO than before. We want to give them a discount because Coho Winery always sends nice Christmas gifts, so we give like a 15% discount, save the whole thing, and then the extended amount even like is within the budget. So we make things happen here perfectly fine. Let's save and close this one. And the nice thing is I never need to go in there again, because with the new grids, I can just simply expand this one here, and I do see all details which I have created in terms of the details which I have imported, like the development for, let's go over, 42 developers for 32 hours. I can directly see how much the amount is, and I can even go in here and make changes to it. Or open the cost details basically from here, or do the price override from here. So there's a lot of new capabilities here on the quote, which help me just to create a better quote for the customer. And the analysis is as well recalculating. Perfect. Sometimes we need to pick it perfectly fine. We don't have no chargeable ones. Okay, perfect. So if we then quickly refresh that as well, our quote is shining up perfectly fine. So we still have remaining customer budget, so we can still throw in some resources onto the project, or basically have some buffer with that. We also will have a good margin for us. We still have plenty of days before we need to send out the quote. We can see like how our plan is setting out together. So we have some expenses right here. We have a little bit of material costs, which are licenses basically in our case. But the majority of the efforts goes into the time here, and as well we do see comparison between like the customer budget, which was 40,000 K, and what we have quoted, and then as well like the distribution over time. So there's a little bit of things that still happens in November, but the majority of the time implementation then happens in December. And from here, I'm perfectly fine. I like my new quote, and I can activate that one and proceed into the creation of the contract.